guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since I've given you any kind of updates on the car, but today's video I think I would like to just kind of run you through something that plagued me for quite a while on the car. It actually happened to me last season, gave me issues on the dyno this year, and that is losing crank sync. So this is a 58X engine, 4X cam sensor on a Terminator X Max. And essentially the issue that I was running into last year as well as this year is that at high power levels the car would lose crank sync. So last year I had some bad main bearings and I thought that maybe that was what the issue was. And everything seemed okay this year until around 800 horsepower something kind of weird happened on the dyno and the car lost crank sync. And every time it loses sync it makes this huge horrible boom noise. So thankfully where I was dynoing it at, the gentleman there is pretty knowledgeable, and he said, hey, let's try turning off the cam sync and see what happens. So we turned off the cam sync and things got better, and we made it all the way to 1,000 horsepower on batch fire, and then it started losing crank sync again. And I lost crank sync probably 5 or 6 times, and then I decided, okay, I'm out, this is no good. So it was actually the good crank sensor. It was the NTK, which I bought last year, and you know, doing some Googling, a lot of people had said that's the better one, but it was still losing it, and I couldn't really figure out why. And I totally thought it was to do with the crank moving or the reluctor moving, but I think it may actually be to do with signal conditioning, as well as possibly quality of sensor. It's one of those things where I just can't risk blowing up this motor and this expensive turbo for something like crank sync. So what's the solution? Well, let me show you.
Alright, so if you peer down into the engine bay here, you will see this. This is an Innovators West harmonic balancer. It has a 4-magnet crank trigger on the front, and on the left side over here, you see my finger there, that is the sensor. So that's the trigger. So essentially what we've done is we've taken the crank sensor out of the block, we've put it on the front of the engine. So there are a few things here that are going to majorly change how this sensor works, and I'll just run you through them. So first off, we are going from a 58 trigger to 4, which means that the sensor can sample at a certain amount of times per second. It can only read so fast. So with 4 triggers, you know, per rotation versus 58, the sensor sample rate will never get exceeded, if that makes sense. It's much easier to count to 4 in one rotation than it is to count to 58, and the chances of error are much lower. Next, it's at the front of the car rather than the back, so all of the torque ends up at the very, very back of the crankshaft, and at the front all we've really got for twisting forces is the belt. So that probably helps with angle of twist. Another thing is we have the actual crank sensor up front. This is a Holley Holofact sensor. This is a very good sensor, and this setup is not necessarily cheap, but so far, preliminary testing at the track, it has definitely worked. I mean, we did a 942 or so the other day, letting off 8 seconds into the pass, so I'm pretty confident with this thing now. If it was going to have a trigger issue, I think it would have happened then. So those are the parts you need, and now maybe I'll show you a little bit about how we get them set up. Alright, so what other parts do we need? Well, really all we need is this timing pointer here. Now the purpose of the timing pointer is it's just a fixed location that you can easily shoot at with a timing light, and what you're going to do is you're going to put some marks on your balancer. You're going to determine where top dead center is. You're going to pick a fixed number. I always pick 20 degrees before top dead center, where you can fix your timing and check it against. And then you're going to need one more mark on there for the reference angle, which is about 60 degrees. I'll run you through that stuff a little later on, but there's essentially 3 marks you need to make with a Sharpie. All you need to do it is a piston stop, and really your timing pointer is just a fixed point of reference that's very stiff and accurate in one spot. So you can see I just made this plate out of some aluminum, and I've just got like a $10 small block Chevy timing pointer stuck on there. Obviously the degree marks are not accurate on it. I only use the 0 mark on there. But yeah, I'll show you guys a little bit more about that later.
Alright guys, so I just wanted to briefly explain something about that timing pointer. So essentially what happens with this thing, if this is your harmonic balancer, try Microsoft Paint here, and then we can make essentially our timing pointer at this location. There it is. What we do is we rotate, the engine rotates in this direction. Oh, that's a terrible looking arrow. Let's fix that. Okay, so the engine rotates in the clockwise direction, looking at the front of the balancer. So what happens is this pointer is just in an arbitrary spot. And what we do is we have a piston stop, which you can think of it as, it looks like a spark plug. It threads into the piston, or it threads into the spark plug hole, and it's got kind of a spring-loaded tip on it. And what it does is it will show you if the piston, as the piston comes up to top dead center or not. So if I just look for a piston stop on the internet, yeah, it's not really the right thing. See, like TDC checker. All right, so when I say piston stop, this is what I'm referring to. So this threads into the spark plug holes, this moves up and down, and there's a little gauge at the top. So obviously as the piston moves up, it pushes this up, and that's how you can find top dead center. Okay, back over to Microsoft Paint. We have our engine here. We have our timing pointer, and we have the direction of rotation. So what we do first is we put the engine to top dead center on the balancer, and we make a mark. Right lined up on the balancer with the timing pointer. So we use the piston stop to find top dead center. We make a mark at 0, okay? And then what we do is we measure the diameter of the balancer, and then we know that pi times by the diameter is equal to the circumference, and the circumference divided by 360 equals how many inches per degree this thing moves. So as an example, if we had a balancer that was, call it 6 inches in dimension, 6 inches in diameter, we would go pi times by 6 inches gives you, let me see here, 18.84 inches. And then we take that number, divide it by 360, we get 0.052 inches per degree. So say we want to know along the circumference of the balancer, how far is 20 degrees? It's 1.046 inches. And if we want to know 60 degrees, we go 60 times 0.052 gives you 3.12 Sorry, my cat just decided to walk across the keyboard. But yeah, so 60 degrees is about 3.12 inches. So essentially, because the engine rotates clockwise, we want to mark at 20 degrees before top dead center, which we can call here. And then we want a mark at 60 degrees before top dead center, which we call here. Okay, and essentially what you use these marks for is setting up how this crank trigger works. So even though the trigger itself, our fancy Holley sensor, is down here, what we're doing is we're using the marks at the trigger location, the 0, 20, and 60 location, to determine our ignition settings. So the 60 degree mark essentially is called the reference angle. The 20 degree mark we would use just for like a static timing check. But I just wanted to give you guys, because it's kind of confusing when you first see this. You'll notice there's no degree marks on anything. So I just wanted to give you guys enough information to be dangerous to kind of set this up. So the process would be you set it to 0 with your timing pointer you've made. Then you take a piece of tape, you put a line on it at 1.046 inches and a line on it at 3.12 inches. You wrap the piece of tape around the balancer, and then you make your 20 and 60 marks. You then put the balancer, obviously the balancer would be in the car at this point. You rotate the engine over to 60 degrees before top dead center. Okay, so your 60 mark would be at our timing pointer. And then you look over on the trigger wheel, okay, at the crank sensor location. I'll do this in blue. But you say, let's pretend we have our 60 lined up. You want to set it up so your 4 dots are like so, your 4 magnets. You center the crank sensor on the 1 magnet here, and essentially that's called your reference angle. And if you think about this, when the crankshaft is spinning, 60 degrees before top dead center is the first time the magnet hits it. Okay, so that means that you can run a maximum amount of timing at 60 degrees, which is more than you would ever need. So I'm not going to go on too long about this. I guess the only other important mark is your 20 degree mark that you would make here. The purpose of this is once you get the car running, you just use the Holley set static timing feature, set it at 20 degrees, and with the timing light, your balancer this mark on your balancer should perfectly line up with your pointer. Again, I'm not going to bore you guys. I've probably already bored you guys to death. But for someone actually out there doing this, wondering how it's set up, that's how you do it. Okay, so in the Holley software, how do we set it up? What we do is we go to the system ICF. We go ignition parameters. Ignition type you probably would have had at LS58X. Okay, you change this to custom. And then you hit the configure button. So your crank sensor now on a 4 magnet becomes a 1 pulse per fire. You will use a digital falling signal, and this ignition reference angle is this number that we picked here, and this is the maximum amount of timing you can use. Okay, so I set it to 60 degrees. Cam sensor, we are using a 4X LS cam sensor. It's literally that easy. If you're using the LS2 style or whatever, you could just use a single pulse. So you literally just check LS50, LSX, 4X. It's that easy. Okay. So then the next thing you would do, you would get the car running. What you would do underneath of this sync, you hit this and you can hit enable static timing check. You set it to 20 degrees. Okay. So now you're back here shooting your balancer. The 20 degree mark should be lined up. So if it isn't lined up, what you do is you change this reference angle So you might go to 58 degrees, or you might need to go to 61 degrees. So what you do is you adjust the ignition reference angle so that when you're shooting your balancer, the 20-degree mark is lining up perfectly on the balancer. Obviously, you have your static timing set at 20 degrees, which I cannot do. For some reason, it won't let me do this, probably because it's not plugged into a car, but hopefully you get the idea there. Lastly, you can play with the inductive delay. What this is when you have the static timing check on, and when you rev the car up, the inductive delay will adjust how it stays centered on the mark. So when you rev the car up with the 20-degree mark lined up, it should stay there, you know, with your static timing on. So I think that's probably enough information for you guys to at least understand the basic setup of this. If you have any questions on that one, you can always let me know.
Okay, and then when it comes to wiring the actual crank sensor here, you actually just need to extend the 3 wires out of your factory Holley crank sensor plug. So I just made an adapter plug, and you just extend those 3 wires and they go right to this sensor. There's no rewiring required. You set the air gap between this sensor and the magnets pretty much as big as you can and allow the vehicle to still start, which allows for any run out. I think I got it at 50 thousandths of an inch and it seems to work. Probably would be, you know, might start a little bit better if it was slightly tighter. But really, all the crank trigger itself is doing, it's just sparking once, you know, the car fires every 90 degrees. It's just marking every 90 degrees for you.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I couldn't really find a lot of info about actually kind of running a crank trigger on an LS, so it's all there. Hopefully this video helps you out. It's very easy to do. Took a little bit of figuring out on my end, but thankfully I've got some smart friends. So yeah, if you're having this issue, I mean, is it worth risking your engine and trying a different sensor every 2 weeks and never knowing when it's going to give up? I don't think so. So as always, guys, thanks for checking out the channel. We'll see you on the next one.